It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry. We were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey everyone, Nico here. I am one of the writers of ISFET Archives, and I just wanted to say, hey, thank you all for listening. If you are on this episode now, you have probably listened to the first 10 episodes, which completed season 1 of the show. We are on a little bit of a break. We'll come back in January. If you are on our binge tier on Patreon, you will get the first 5 episodes of season 2 all on January 1st, I believe. Besides that, if you are a listener on the general feed, you will go back to your normal schedule of every third Sunday, a new episode starting in January. In the meantime, I did want to let you know that as a part of Creative Typo Entertainment, the entertainment company that me and my friends have put together for these shows, we have a couple other audio dramas. And one of them is a show called Stick Shift Incorporated. So what I'm going to do in this episode right here is actually play you the first episode of Stick Shift, and then I'll put a link to the website where you can pop on and check out the show if you'd like to listen to it. It's a pretty cool, like, American Gods meets Canada. A super great job writing. It sounds fantastic. Great audio work. You'll hear some familiar voices in there, and I really hope you enjoy it. So again, thank you for checking out ISFET Archives. We can't wait to jump into season 2 with you, and if I don't talk to you before then, happy holidays.
Discretion is advised for listeners under the age of 13. It all started on a Friday. The calendar said it was Thursday, but I knew that I would get to sleep in the next day, so that made it my Friday. If you've never worked outside of the 9 to 5, that may not make a whole lot of sense to you. But if you've ever worked in something like food or retail, then you know exactly what I mean. Weekends are a myth, calendars lie, and this all started on a Friday. It was the tail end of my shift at Club Cafe. That's my main job. Or it was before all of this happened. I was bleary-eyed and brain-fogged after serving gallon upon gallon of espressos, lattes, americanos, macchiatos, mochas, and cappuccinos to a constant stream of strangers. That's when they walked in, a psychic. I could tell because they had gemstones and medallions in their ears, around their neck, and on bangles that went practically up to their elbows. They didn't wear clothing so much as it flowed around them, giving them an otherworldly aura. Also, they handed me their card. Zephyr Jordan, Psychic, was printed on it in tiny purple script. "You are a Karen," they said matter-of-factly. Their voice was thin, almost insubstantial, and the scent of lavender wafted toward me. I told Zephyr that, no, I am not a Karen. My name is Skylar, but still they insisted. "You are a Karen, and you have been looking for work." Now, you might be thinking, maybe this psychic isn't so great at their job, but that's where you would be wrong, because even though I already had a full-time job plus a part-time job, I was looking for work. Rent in Vancouver isn't cheap, and my middle name, which I hate, is Karen. Not that there's anything wrong with Karen as a name, mind you. It just doesn't feel like a name that should belong to me. Some of this must have crossed my face because Zephyr smiled in recognition. "They are waiting for your call," they said, and motioned for me to turn over the card. There, printed in all caps, was the name Sticks Shift Incorporated, followed by a phone number. Something about that name rang a bell, like I had seen it printed somewhere else before, but I couldn't for the life of me remember where. When I looked up to ask for more information, Zephyr was already gone. I jammed the card in my pocket, finished up my cafe shift, and tried to forget about it. I mean, I still had to hoof it over to my other job, Kanpai Sushi, and there are more reliable ways to find work than to, call a number a random psychic handed me? But, of course, I couldn't forget. And that's what landed me here, smack dab in the middle of this whole investigation, sifting through hours and hours of audio and video acquired by means that even now I can't quite fully explain. There's a lot about what happened that I can't explain. It's been months, and I'm still learning to be okay with that, with not fully understanding. My job now is to share the facts, to build the story of what happened as accurately as possible, to the best of my abilities. And to that end, this video is as good of a piece to start with as any. Okay, so this footage has been spliced together. I have no idea by whom. Right now, we're looking out toward my old apartment in East Vancouver. It's a relatively quiet, moonlit night. The streets look empty, and... there. That's me coming out. Look at me. I have no idea that I'm about to launch headfirst into a global conspiracy. Not a clue. I'm only 25 years old in this footage. I'm 27 now. But just look at how ragged and worn I am there. Like, it hurts to breathe. This must have been right after my second job. That means I worked 8 hours in the morning and added another 4 hours right after. And now on to job number 3. Desperation is something else, my friend. I'm clutching that cup of coffee like my life depends on it. Oh, the camera has changed. Now we're looking down at my car, probably from one of the street lights. I'm shuffling towards a silver 4-door sedan, and you can see me press a cloud-shaped sticker on the driver's side door. The camera zooms in here, and you can see the words Sticks Shift Incorporated printed on the sticker, and a small metallic device extends from an unseen seam on its side. Weird, right? There. I tap my employee card on it, and the device chimes. Okay, now it slowly retracts back inside the high-tech theft-proof sticker and triggers the car doors to unlock. And now we're looking at footage from inside the car.
Welcome, Skylar Henderson.
You can skip the intro.
Thank you for signing in
Seriously.
to the Sticks Shift Incorporated Employee Tracker System. Today, you have been assigned to pick up Jules Mason.
Yeah, just tell me where to go.
At 105 Windermere Street. Delivery destination is 1181 Seymour Street.
Got it. That's the end of the clip. Of course, I had no idea I was being recorded at the time. Even now, I'm not quite sure who was watching me back then. When this investigation first started, I asked a mechanic to help me find that camera, the one with the view from inside the cabin. We broke that car down to the studs and never found the recording device. But yeah, all of the video clips are like that, switching back and forth from multiple angles from cameras that don't actually exist. Like this one. It's from later that same night. There's my car, pulling up alongside a row of $1 million 2-story homes. Then we cut to a confused-looking elderly person aimlessly wandering the front yard.
Oh dear. Last thing I remember is I was eating dinner with Henry.
Before we go on, there is something you should know about me. As a non-binary person, I try not to guess at people's genders and do my best to respect their preferred pronouns. It's a favor that isn't always returned, which will come up later. But this client was definitely a she. That's a better angle. There you can see her portly frame and shoulder-length silvery hair. Her skin is loose and pale, almost gray. This is accentuated by the maroon knee-length dress and jacket. The matching hat, shoes, and purse don't do her any favors either. She seems to be looking for someone or something, but isn't sure of who or what. Are you Jules Mason?
Who are you? Where am I? What happened?
I'm the driver from Stick Shift Incorporated. You scheduled a pickup with them? We're going to Seymour Street?
Oh, yes, that must be it. Dinner and a show. Henry's always outdoing himself. I wonder what's taking him so long. Henry loves. Oh, yes, I'm so sorry for keeping you waiting, my dear. You must forgive me. My mind's been a little bit cloudy as of late, and the last thing I remember is...
Do you need me to take you to a hospital or something? I could call 911 for you. You don't look like you're doing so well. Looks like you've got a serving of dementia with a dash of death warmed over.
Oh, nonsense, dear. I'm in tip-top shape. Simply have to paint my face and freshen up a bit. Well, what are you waiting for? Take me to the theater.
So, are you seeing a movie tonight?
Why, of course, dear. Why else would one go to the theater?
To listen to a lecture? Or, I don't know, to clean, sell tickets, make repairs, do some actual work you've seen.
Employee number 506533333333335
Where is that coming from? Who's talking?
has been flagged for 2 infractions of Rule 25.08.55163, Section E.
Don't worry, it's just the Stick Shift Incorporated sticker they gave me to put on my car. It has some kind of proprietary tech embedded in it that tracks my driving and tells me who I need to pick up, where I need to go, things like that. I've only been doing this for about a week, so I'm still getting a handle on everything.
You poor dear. That sounds so terribly intrusive. I'm glad I never worked somewhere that watched every little thing I did. That would be maddening.
Customer complaint has been filed. Thank you for your feedback, Jules Henderson.
You're quite welcome. Say, have I met you somewhere before? I'm sure I've seen your face somewhere. You look so familiar.
Maybe. I work part-time at Kampai Sushi on Commercial and full-time at Club Cafe in Gastown. Rent in this city isn't cheap, you know.
Oh my, you poor dear. I can't imagine. How can you stand it? I would have gone insane. It's dreadful that young folks like you have to work so hard to get so little. But you're such a pretty girl. I'm sure you'll find a man someday who will provide for you. Who knows? You might even marry into a wealthy family, and then you won't have to work so hard.
Hey, is it all right if I turn on the radio?
Why, of course, dear.
That was rough to watch. I mean, She wasn't the most considerate person on the planet, but those things I said about her. Overwork does bad things to your brain. Decision-making, impulse control, all of that goes downhill. Went downhill. Part of me wonders, if only I had known. I need a break. I'm back. Okay, here's the next clip. We're pulling up to Van City Theater. All of the lights in the building are off. Looks like they're closed.
But they can't be. Why else would I have...
Maybe that Henry person you were talking about rented out the building and came ahead to prepare a surprise for you or something like that?
Yes, that sounds like my darling Henry. Thank you, dear.
She just tried to open the door, but it won't open.
Thank you for riding with Stick Shift Incorporated, the only truly global riding service. Your total for this ride is $13.74.
Oh, yes, of course. Silly me.
We accept cash, debit, and most credit cards. Please don't forget to tip your driver. And thank you again for riding with Stick Shift Incorporated.
Do you have change for a 20?
I don't think I...
Please don't forget to tip your driver. And thank you again for riding with Stick Shift Incorporated.
On second thought, don't worry about it.
It's hard to tell from this angle, but she just handed me two $20 bills.
You work far too hard. Take some time off to have a little fun, dear. Money isn't everything.
Thank you. Have a good night. Okay, now you can see her walking up to the theater door, and now she pulls it open. Here's the weird part. Even though you can see through the glass that all of the lights in the building are turned off, there's a wash of light spilling out of the doorway and onto the sidewalk. And now she steps through, and the door drifts shut. Okay, the camera's back to me, and I'm rubbing my eyes like I'm clearly thinking, that did not just happen. I must be hallucinating. Maybe I should take a day off. Who was I kidding? If I could have afforded to take a day off, I wouldn't have wound up in this mess to begin with. I never would have taken on extra roommates or dedicated years of my life to thankless jobs that swallowed my heartbeats and left me feeling dead inside. The entire system is just... Ugh! I think I need another break. Back. Sorry about that. Sometimes it all just gets to me. Anyway, this clip is just audio. According to the file name, it's a conversation between the CEO of Stick Shift Incorporated, a Mr. Catacosmos, and his brother, who isn't named.
Hello?
Hey, it's me.
Hey, baby brother. It's been ages. How are things going in deep space?
Not bad. The wife and I went to visit Mother for a bit, and now we're on a strange planet with a purple sky and the most fascinating rubbery humanoid creatures. I think they call themselves Theriots.
That sounds vaguely familiar, but I know you, little brother. You never call or visit anybody unless you want something, so spit it out.
Well, I could really use some advice. It's about...
Your wife? The whole reason you left Earth?
Yeah. The whole point of this trip was to reconnect and spend more time with each other to improve our relationship. And it was great at first, but now she's furious at me and... I don't know what to do.
Let me guess. You slept with a Theriot.
More like 15.
Why do I bother giving you advice when I know you'll never use it?
But this time she's destroyed an entire village. Murdered every single one of them.
I'm not surprised. Did it happen to be the same village where you found those 15 Theriots?
Yes, but that's not the point. Please, help me. She's really lost it this time, and I'm afraid she might kill again. I'm at my wit's end. I swear, I'll follow your advice down to the letter this time.
And if you break that promise?
Then I'll never ask for help from you ever again.
Fine. My advice has been the same since the day you two got married. Stop sleeping with other people.
Even if they're unbelievably gorgeous.
Yes.
Even if I make absolutely certain that she'll never find out.
Yes.
Even if they proposition me.
Yes.
Even if.
Yes. Stop cheating on your wife, and your marriage will improve substantially.
Okay. I promise.
Good. Now go apologize to your wife and make the same exact promise to her. But this time, she decides what happens to you if you break your promise, not you.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Okay. I'll go make her that stupid promise.
Remember, you're the one who came to me asking for help.
You're right. Guess I better go and get it over with.
Goodbye, baby brother.
Bye.
Okay, I don't even know where to begin with this one. They're just casually talking about interacting with extraterrestrials like it's no big deal. And apparently intergalactic space travel is a thing? Except it's not. I've done extensive research into our current space travel capabilities, and we're still not even close. My guess is they're talking in some kind of code, but I haven't been able to crack it yet. The next clip is video footage from inside my old apartment. We're looking down into the main living space, which is an open-concept living room, den, kitchen combo. Kobe is chopping onions in the kitchen, and Steve is planted on the sofa with a game controller in his hands. Looks like he's playing one of those team shooter games. The front door opens up, and I walk in. Based on the timestamp, this is right after I dropped Jules Mason off at the theater. Kobe looks up and grins when he sees me, but Steve doesn't physically react at all to the door opening.
Hey, Skylar! How'd the new gig go?
Oh, yeah. Hey, dude. What he said.
It was alright, but I'm pretty exhausted. I think I'm just gonna jump straight into bed.
You work way too hard, Skylar. You don't really need this new gig, right?
No, but
Exactly! It's like Uncle Joseph always says. If you put too many eggs in a basket, one of them's gonna drop out and split right open!
What C-Boy said.
Oh, could you please stop calling me that?
You gotta take time to go out, get drunk, and party. If you don't, are you even alive, bro?
Thanks, I'll take that under advisement, but right now, all I can think about is sleep. See you folks in the morning. Steve never once looked up from his game. Kind of creeps me out now looking back at it. I head to bed after that, and there isn't much to see until... Let me skip ahead here. The visuals aren't important here. You can see me tossing and turning, but listen. Hear that? That's Steve. He's in a band. And Kobe does voice acting on the side. I am so glad I don't live there anymore. That I actually have access to peace and quiet. It's a marvelous thing, silence. Even the gentlest of sound waves are a full-body assault, physically crashing into you with or without your consent. I wish more people would think about the sounds they make, how those waves force themselves on the people around them. Okay, this one's just audio. It's a conversation between Mr. Catacosmos, the CEO of StickShift Incorporated, and his wife, who also works in the company.
I can't wait to see you again, my sweet.
I miss you too, my love. How was your day?
Not bad. We had some new arrivals and business is still booming. Oh, I was looking through the logs of flagged employees, and there's one that I'd like you to override.
Why?
I was just chatting with their writer, and she highly recommended this employee. She said, and I quote, "She was a nice young lady who made me feel at ease. I just hope she can find a husband someday." This employee uses they pronouns, so all of that misgendering must have really grated on them. I honestly don't blame them for being a little grumbly. Besides, it's only their first week on the job. I think it's okay to give them a pass this one time.
All right. Give me the employee number so I can write it down.
Employee number 50, 653, 333, 333, 351.
50 653 333 333 351. Got it. Why does that look familiar? Oh, this is the employee who did the delivery that I was meaning to talk to you about.
Oh?
Yeah. There was a flicker in the system, and the theater lights at their assigned drop-off didn't turn on like they were programmed to.
Ah, I see. Do you suppose they had a sneak peek behind the curtain?
More or less. I'm going to keep an eye on them.
Good idea. We can't risk exposure, no matter how small the threat.
As usual, darling, you're absolutely right. I'll call them tomorrow for assessment. Skylar Henderson, right?
That's the one.
Looks like they're due for their 1-week assessment anyway.
Excellent. Don't want them getting any more suspicious than they already might be. Keep me posted.
Of course. But what should I do if Skylar figures it out? It's been ages since our last system error, and technology has gotten much quicker since then.
If Skylar becomes a problem, I'll handle them.
Are you sure?
Yes.
But the last time I sent an employee to you, they...
Trust me, my sweet. This is for the best.
That never gets any easier to hear. I can only imagine what happens when Mr. Catacosmos handles a problem employee. And that's because there are no records of Stick Shift Incorporated ever having employed anyone. Not even me. I told you this case was weird. And that assessment? Well, I can go into more detail next time, but it definitely does not go as planned. This show is made possible in part by our Kickstarter backers, Dwayne Farver at Apocalypse Cowboy on Twitter, Stephen LaFawn from the Whichever Path podcast, and 1985 the podcast by Cherie Madewell. Thank you so much for believing in us. You can also support the show by rating, subscribing, and sharing with others. Sharing is caring, after all. Stick Shift Incorporated was written, produced, and set in Vancouver, BC, which is the unceded shared traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. This episode featured the voices of Brad, Brandon Jenkins, Cass McPhee, Chekhov, Richard Collins, Takudzwa Sharon Kirimi, and Dietrich Marie Bowie. Music for the show was composed by Anthony Luis Sanchez. If you'd like to hear more of his work, visit anthonyluissanchez.com or subscribe to his YouTube channel, Molto Rubato 88. Think you know what will happen next? Tweet us your theories, or hop into our Discord server linked in the show notes. Stick Shift Incorporated is a Microphones and Monsters production. You can find Stick Shift Incorporated wherever podcasts are found, or at stickshift.com. That's stickshift.com. You can also find other great Microphones and Monsters podcasts at mikesandmonsters.com. That's mikesandmonsters.com. Don't forget to check out our Patreon as well at www.patreon.com/mikesandmonsters. That's patreon.com/mikesandmonsters.